Okay. Well, active versus passive. So, in general, before we get too deep into it, I think is there's not a good, it's not like one is good and one is bad. It takes a combination of the two to really have a successful real estate business, in my opinion. So it's not like a active's good and passive's bad. It's not like that. They're just two different types of prospecting. And I think to be effective and really build your business, you need to have a little bit of both. Um, so what it is passive. So think about passive as you're building your content, you're building your brand, your consistency over time. It's foundation. You are sending out communications and rapport with potential clients, but not actively asking for the business. So you active kind of layers on the passive prospecting by saying, okay, your passive is getting the word out that you're in real estate and building, kind of brand recognition of you as a real estate agent. And then active comes in where you start layering on the next level of the active conversations about what people have been seeing you do passively. So they work very well together. Passive is, like I said, it is building that recognition and that awareness. And then you're taking that active next step to then start asking for the business because people have gotten the message that you are the real estate active through your passive prospecting. So you're having those good conversations with people when you are actively talking to people. So active is, think about it, like you are doing activities, you're being active in it, you're engaging, you're talking to people, having honest conversations, and those things. Whereas passive is more putting stuff out there and just waiting kind of for the consumer to come back to you. Active is you are actually engaging with the consumer. So you're initiating contact or conversations with someone with the intent to introduce them to your business or service. So active prospecting is you are creating that you are taking control of having that conversation. And I think a big thing to remember when we are actively prospecting is that we need to come from a mindset of service, not desperation. I know sometimes we are all would love to get a deal, love to work with them, but I think sometimes if we come at it like, hey, I'm Lauren, I'm in real estate, can I sell your house? Like that's probably not going to get me anywhere, right? We can all agree we have to take a more approach of coming from that mindset of service and just having genuine conversations with people, because the good news is we sell a service and we have a product that everyone needs somewhere to live, right? So it's something that will naturally then come up in conversation. A good quote I found from Mike Dillard said, you must give without want before you can have. And I think that's a very good mindset to maintain. Is I kind of always say there's givers and takers. The more you give, the more that'll come back to you if you just authentically give without worrying about what you're taking, right? So if you give and you have genuine conversations, you provide education to people, you provide your expertise, you provide them items of value, it's naturally going to come to you. Like you will have their business naturally over time. If we take that neediness and like kind of the greediness of getting the business immediately out of the equation. So just a little tidbit to go on top of active prospecting. I think just when we are out there having conversations with people, let's think about it as coming from a mindset of service. So you're listening to the people that you're having the conversations with, and through when you're having conversations and people can tell that you are truly invested in the conversation, you truly care about the conversation, then they're going to start opening up to you more and more. And like I said, real estate's a very natural topic that will probably come up into that conversation no matter what, whether you actively ask for it. Now, do I think there's times it's appropriate to ask and say, like, do you know anyone looking, to buy or sell real estate or has real estate needs? 100%. We do have to ask for the business at some point. I just would say don't lead with that. Because as they start telling you about their problems or their desires or their wants or what they're thinking about, you can naturally start interjecting little tidbits in there and eventually arrive at that perfect moment to then start asking for the business. Look for a need that they have or a problem they have, and explain to them how you can help them overcome that problem or that need or achieve their goals. And then that's your way of basically asking for the business and saying, I'd love to show you the stats of the market right now, or show you what your home value is worth, or, let me get you in contact with the lender because you actually might have more buying power than you need. You're starting those conversations. Does anyone have anything to chime in or thoughts before we keep going?
Mitch, you're unmuted.
All right, so let's think about what are some types of active prospecting. All right, cold calls, conversations, referrals. We're actively speaking to people. I can't speak today. So networking events, social events, you're sponsoring different events, you're volunteering, places where you're dedicating your time and your service. It may not be the most, in a weird way, active can be cheaper because it's all you're giving your time and you're actively engaging with them. Whereas passive might be cost a little bit more, like you're spending money because you're doing ads or postcards or mailers, right? But that's not saving you time. You're hitting a lot of people at one time. Whereas active is your time's what's of value in active prospecting, because you're only one person, you can only talk to so many people, right? So, but targeted mailing. So mailings can be active or passive. I think active if you are more talking about results and you're doing it in a very targeted fashion and on a repetitive basis, and you have a rapport with that community you're targeting, that can be active, especially if you're following it up with phone calls and that kind of thing. So mailings can become active. So think of active prospecting as activities that you can control and track. You met Susie at the, event that you sponsored, right? You can write that down. You know where she came from. So if she works with you, you know where they came from. You can track the results of that. Sometimes passive can be a little harder to track because it could be like, I think I saw you online, or I think I saw you on Facebook, or I saw that post. It could be a accumulation of multiple things, so it can be a little harder. But active, like if you're doing drop-bys to past clients or potential your neighborhood. I know a few of the agents went out for 4th of July and did some, handed out sparklers in their neighborhoods and had those. And so drop-bys is funny because it could be passive if you just go by and your intent is to just leave it on the porch and walk away. That's passive. You are putting it in their hands. But the whole point of pop by should be you're doing it at a time where you can knock on the door, ring the doorbell, engage in conversations with that person. That's when it becomes active, is when you are engaging in the conversation with people. Same thing with door knocking. It's not just simply leaving the flyer in the door. That's passive. But if you're knocking on the door and having active conversations, then we are now actively prospecting. Any thoughts or questions on active prospecting while we're here? Right, anything anyone wants to add? All right, we will keep moving along. Like I said, nothing here is overly mind-blowing or like some, thing that we all don't know. We all know these things. I think it's good to just have reminders so that we can, in our head, continue to separate what is active and what is passive, because like I said, you need some of both. So it's good to understand what you're doing that is active prospecting and what you're doing that is passive, because they're going to lead to results, but in different ways. So passive is prospecting about creating engagement points with potential clients without a real estate agent needing to be in direct communication. So a lot of your social media posting is passive. You must wait for the people to respond or come to you, right? So you can say like, oh, this many people opened the drip campaign, the holiday happy 4th of July email I sent out. You can see who did it, but that's still passive. You're still waiting for them to engage with you. Now, if you then take that piece of passive prospecting where you sent out that holiday, happy 4th of July or a newsletter, and you can see who opened that email, and then you go through and call those people who opened the email, then that's when you're layering that active on top of passive, right? That's how they work together. You're taking it to the next level. But if you're just seeing how many clicks you had, that's great. You know, people looked at it, but it's still, you're having to wait for them to come to you unless you then add that active layer onto it and start making the calls yourself. So passive prospecting is used to kind of anticipate the needs or wants of a potential client. So yes, we're sending mailers to neighborhoods anticipating that someone might want to sell their house. Or, we're sending out letters of, I have a buyer anticipating that someone might want to sell their house. Social media posts, you're waiting for that engagement. You're anticipating that someone out there is going to have a question or value the information you're sharing in your content and reach out to you, right? But once again, we're putting the contact in the consumer's hands, in the client's hands. And that two-way communication, it does not become active until we let them reach out to us, unless you take it to that next level and make it active. Does that make sense to everyone? Yes, no, maybe. And now I'm going the wrong way. Oh, quiet today. Quiet, quiet. All right. So that's the thing. So passive is fantastic. It's a great way to do it. And because we are one person, so we can't constantly be actively prospecting. Like, we would wear ourselves out. So that's why passive is great. It's good for that awareness. Think of passive as awareness. And that's why I say those drip campaigns and CRMs, like when we get to this next slide, CRM drip campaigns are an amazing passive prospecting tool, because it's something we can set it and forget it, right? We have to do like 2 steps, get the people on the campaign, and we don't have to think about it again. It's not taking our time, right? It's actively prospecting it's passively prospecting for us. Like I said, we can then take it to the next level when you go into engage, and you can click on and see who's actually opening these campaigns, or who's creating searches on your website, who's favoriting certain properties. That's great if they're engaging with our websites and doing those things, but unless they reach out to us or we reach out to them, it's not taking it to that next step of them becoming a client, right? So passive marketing is a great way to create the awareness of the services you offer and what you bring to the table, but then we got to take that next step to then engage them as a client. So if you're sending out newsletters, market updates, social media posts, email blasts, mailers, all of those things are absolutely fantastic. If you're putting ads in a local, magazine, there's agents that put their faces on grocery carts at the grocery store. I mean, there's so many. So think of advertising as a very passive prospecting, right? Because you're putting your face, your name out there, advertising yourself, but once again, putting it in those consumers' hands to then reach out to you. So lots of great avenues, and it's not, like I said, it is not a bad thing at all to do, because we do need to get that awareness out there. And it can sometimes, money can get us a lot further than you going trying to door knock 2,000 homes. You got 2,000 people seeing you in a grocery store. You couldn't have reached all those people just walking around. Well, you could have, but it would have taken you a heck of a lot of time. So that's why you got to have a little bit of both, because you're only one person. And now sometimes passive's going to have a little bit of a budget to it, because you can't just go advertise everywhere. I wish we could, but we got to be strategic in it. And I think with passive prospecting, you don't want to go out and be doing 500 different passive things. So then you don't really know your ROI. You don't really know where are the people coming from, because with passive, it's kind of good to at least have a best guess of kind of where they're connecting with you, because that's an avenue that works, and to continue to do it. Does anyone else have any examples of passive prospecting that they've either done or thought about?
Office duty is also passive prospecting. You're sitting there waiting for the phone to ring, but
That's
that
actually a
doesn't mean
very
it's a
good way.
bad thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's not bad to sit there and, if you're going to be at the office, work phone duty. Yes, that's fantastic, but that's actually not active. People think because they're on the phone, it could be active. No, you're waiting for that phone to ring. You're waiting for someone to walk in the door. Now, once they do that, if you actively start engaging with them and continue to follow up with that person, you can convert it into active prospecting. But that initially it's passive, because you're waiting for once again, the consumer to come to you. So I think eventually as you build up over time, agent, you want to probably doing a little more lean heavier on the active side because you're actively having those conversations and people are not quite aware yet that you are in real estate. So you really want to be doing more of that active. As you build up a kind of a sphere, a good base, you then can lean to a little bit more passive style as, you know, kind of referrals come to you, past clients are coming back around, but you can never stop actively prospecting. I don't care how long you've been in the business, if you stop actively prospecting and just do passive, you will not have deals. I think that's a big mistake people make is they don't continue on doing that active prospecting and then all of a sudden, and it might not be for a year or two, but there will be a point that pipeline dries up if you're not actively out there prospecting for the business. So active
Lauren, good morning. Hey, it's Tanya. I just want to send you an email for some kind of publicity I'm going to do. It's not right in this moment. I have a few changes they are going to make. And this is something like, it's not like a flag. I don't know how to say this in English. It's like, I don't know. It's like a big flag.
like a banner?
Like a banner, yes. You can check it out what I'm doing. And it's not, I'm making some kind of changes, but I'm gonna have this in comparative food in Apex. So they are gonna have my banner there every day.
Okay. And that's great. I mean, those are great ways to get your name out there. Like I said, you gotta have both. And I would never tell anyone not to. And just like I said, look at where you think you're gonna invest. Your investment makes the most sense and go for it. And you know, we don't know till we try, right? We're all gonna have those misses, but you're gonna have those home runs out there. So if you're not passively advertising yourself, you could definitely be missing out on business because there are people that will see things and call you from it. And then the key is when we get those phone calls, when we get those email text messages, to then stay in touch and continue reaching out to them, right? Because if they just call us one time and we don't return a call or we don't stay in touch or we just have one conversation, then you know we're not going anywhere. So active prospecting is going to take more time investment than passive because you're actually calling people, you're meeting with them, following up. It's taking more of your time. Passive can do more of a budget investment like we're talking about, but less time intensive. So that's why it's a combination of the two is good. So you're not scrambling, like it says, for that month-old trade show list when it starts to dry up, because that's what happens. We get busy, then all of a sudden things dry up and we're like, oh my gosh, I don't have any clients. So I think that's the biggest thing, and let me stop share now, is that we've got to always be doing this prospecting in one way or the other. And I know we are going to get busy, which is fantastic. I hope we all have the problem that you have so many clients you feel busy. But if you stop prospecting in the meantime, when those close, you're going to be looking at your broker in charge saying, oh, I don't know what to do because I don't have any clients. You have to constantly be prospecting. All right, I want some feedback. What are some thoughts on different types of prospecting? What do you feel is working good for you right now? Has anyone had success with something that has really worked well for them recently?
I just had, let's see, I've been doing those reminder media
I was gonna ask
magazines,
you. Yeah, how's that?
and um the buyers that you and I just talked about yesterday that I got referred to from the agent in Charlotte,
Yes.
the wife had said to me when we met for our buyer consult, she was like, we've been getting your wonderful magazines every month. And I told my husband when we were ready to buy that we had to reach out to you because you were thinking of us and sending us these magazines, and they are not cheap. But in my head, I was like, if I can get at least one deal out of them, then they pay for themselves and I can continue using them. Right now, they've basically been a passive touch because I haven't done any follow up. I used it as a chance to get my name out there, sent it to like the ladies that changed my diaper at the church growing up, you know, ladies that I hung, parents of friends that I grew up with. And so I used it as a tool to get my name out there. And now
Oh,
I'm
that's
at the
fantastic.
point where, and actually I wanted to talk to you about this another day, not today. I want to find a way to do like a handwritten letter and send a QR code that goes to a survey to ask like, are you getting the magazines? Do you like them? Do you want to buy a house? And basically kind of testing the waters to see if they're doing what I was hoping they would do.
Right, if it's worth continuing.
Yeah.
So
I love
Megan
them.
brings up a really good point. I'm in Buffini coaching and I mail out the item of value every month and it goes out and it goes out and it goes out. And if you don't follow up on it, occasionally I'll talk to somebody that's like, oh, by the way, I got that thing in the mail yesterday. I look forward to those every month. You're not going to get a lot of feedback when you prospecting. When you go fishing and you don't catch a fish, you don't say fishing doesn't work. You keep throwing your line in the water, and you know that if you stick with the process, eventually you're going to get enough fish to eat. It's the same thing with prospecting. If you're looking for this for immediate results, you're setting yourself up for heartbreak and failure. You have to trust that it's a process that has been proven to work over time, and you have to apply it and do it continuously, not just once and say, oh, this stuff doesn't work.
Right. And I even for clients that when I first started that they are renting, I put them on the mailer. So they're getting the magazine. And whether they're actually there or not anymore, because they've dropped off and ghosted me, I know that property is a rental property. So the people that are there are hopefully getting the magazine. And every time I get a closing or meet family members or whatever, I'm adding those people to the mailer. So 9 times a year, they're going to get this beautiful magazine with my smiling face on the front of it.
Right. But I think doing like you're talking about something like that to follow up to say what's the engagement, because whether it's not even about necessarily them answering the questions or completing the survey, is that engagement or you reaching out to them, because it could start a lot more two-way conversations because I'm like, yes, I have been receiving those magazines.
Yeah.
And so like it's just one of those things where like Mike said, if I think something like that's so good to do, but then we just gotta follow up on it. Like, are you getting it actually? Like, are you
Yeah.
opening it? It lets us know, is it worth our time and money?
Yep.
Right?
Because when I first started sending it out, I reached out to my friends and they weren't actually getting it. So then I had to reach back out to Reminder Media to be like, hey, what's happening here? And they were able, because it's $5 a magazine. So when you have like a minimum that you have to produce every few weeks, it adds up pretty quickly. And they do reimburse you for the ones that weren't sent. But for those that aren't reaching out or not sending me a picture of like, oh my God, I got your magazine. It's so cute. I don't know if they're actually getting it. So this is a touch plus a check-in plus, am I being charged for something that's not happening?
So yes, that's why, yeah, you definitely want to be following up to see like what, and always evaluating, I think too,
Right.
whatever type of prospecting we're doing, even if it's active, if you're like open houses are my jam, I'm getting like, if you evaluate your business like quarterly, semi-annually, even if it's just annually, where's your business coming from? It allows us to know where to focus our prospecting efforts, right? Because like I said, time is valuable. Our time is valuable. We are but one person. So we need to know, where do we want to invest our time, energy, and money? So doing these constant evaluations of the different types of prospecting that we are doing, whether it's passive or active, we then can know moving forward where to hone in on to increase our ROI. Like if you know you're great at working networking events, keep doing them. If that's not your jam, maybe cut back a little bit. I'm not saying like cut it out completely, but maybe don't go every week if you're just going to sit there. I'm not saying that's a bad, you're not, everyone's different. Everyone has their strengths. And if, certain marketing activities or advertising you're doing, like Megan's doing, yeah, she's not going to just keep throwing money out the window for no reason. If she's seeing a return on it and it's building, even if it's not immediate, but it's building rapport, it's building a potential client base that people are enjoying receiving it, which could lead to deals, and that's one thing. But if like you're getting absolutely crickets back, you might be like, not the thing for me to do. So I think that's a really good point of just constantly evaluating the activities we are doing. So we're kind of, nothing's ever gonna be perfect, right? We can't, there's always gonna be times like, maybe that wasn't the best idea, but that's life. So we just gotta, do our best.
Speaking of networking events, there's one coming up in September. Carolina's 21. If you sign up by the end of the month, you still get the early bird rate So just a plug in there for other great opportunities for you to network and train.
Yes, and we do. I know a lot of people on here are signed up to go. If you have not, in terms of like honing skills, providing yourself social media content to put out there, and just all of the above, connecting with realtors and other markets to build referral partnerships, that's prospecting, right? It doesn't just have to be a client. If you're building relationships with agents in different markets, that's prospecting, because when they have a client that needs help in the area you serve, you're going to be their phone call, right? We want to build those relationships just like we want to build relationships with potential clients. So, different things that we can do like this to not only increase our skill set as an agent, but build new relationships, possibly have more content to show on social media, or get new, you get new ideas when you're around all those people. I mean, so yes, Carolina's 21, September 18th through 20th. Early bird pricing ends July 31st. So if you have not signed up, I highly encourage you to do so. Hotel rooms are also going fast. It is apparently golf season in Myrtle Beach in September. So the hotel is forewarning us that rooms are going. So if you want to get in the hotel room block and the discounted registration price, sign up soon.
And in case you didn't catch the memo from Mike Meadler, we planned this for just the Carolinas and he invited everybody else to come. So it's not just going to be us there.
Yes, we do. We have a lot of other people coming to attend from surrounding states, like a lot of the East Coast. So I will here, I will real quick, so some people are in the chat. I'm gonna put
Yeah,
the
I'll paste it.
all right, yeah, put the link to it's a website. If you go to the website that Mike's about to put in the chat, it'll take you to registration for Carolinas and the hotel block. So you can either do your hotel room reservation online or by calling them. If you want to extend the rate through Saturday night, you can do it, but you got to call. You can't do it online, just FYI.
They were
Um,
really hesitant to do it when I called.
they will do it, but you get push them a little bit.
Yeah. I was like, oh, are you sure? I was like, I was told that if I call, because I called and I was like, hey, I was told that I could extend the rate, blah, 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 but I needed to call in. So should I do it online or should I just do it through talking with you? And she was like, I don't know if I can honor that. And I was like, funny, I was told that you guys could, but I had to call in first. I think she extended it, what? Because we're supposed to check out on Friday?
Saturday.
Saturday. So she extended it to Saturday. She wouldn't extend it to Sunday.
You get Saturday night. Yeah. I mean, I think most people are leaving on Sunday, but yeah. But yeah, that's the tidbit. That's the plug. Might put the link in there. So once again, highly encourage that. Is anyone else doing any other forms of prospecting right now, or have ideas of events they're planning, prospecting ideas they have? Like, kind of let's use this time to come together and share some ideas. I know Megan's not the only one prospecting right now. At least I hope not.
Another tool that we have available to us is the preferred client club.
Mm.
When you close the deal, if you sign that person up for the preferred client club, you are continuing to prospect them and stay top of mind so that those referrals are going to come to you when their friend at work says, this apartment life is killing me. I've got to find a place. Oh, you need to talk to Megan because they just got the magazine that she sent or something like that. Anything that stays in front of people is passive, but you got to follow up well.
Right. It is a fantastic tool. Honestly, if you're not using Preferred Client Club every time you close a deal, I mean, it is like for 7 years, like $62.21. Like total, not just a year, total. For 7 years, they're getting a magazine, 2 magazines, a calendar, and I think 3 postcards throughout the year, branded to you, obviously with Century 21 on it, but branded to you. So whether they're looking at it, they put the magazine on their coffee table. Once again, it's just that kind of magazine is building that awareness, brand awareness of you in real estate, Century 21. So, but you can do it for 2, 5, or 7 years. So
I think it's also kind of really important for a passive idea is like your closing gift. If you make it something that's useful, like we all see coffee mugs, right? Everyone loves a good coffee mug. If you do a closing gift that you know they're going to use,
mm-hmm.
they're gonna think about you.
The ROI on that's way more than handing them a gift card.
Oh my gosh. And like I've thought about, I looked into making like custom tennis balls and going to dog parks and like putting a bag with like a little basket. You can go to the farmer's market and get a basket for like $3 and put having tennis balls with my information on it and just do like a laminated card. But that takes a lot of time and effort that I just don't have the brain width to do right now. So I need someone to help me figure
Fantastic
out how to
idea,
do that.
though. Good idea,
I
though.
had
Right?
somebody can help you, Megan. I had somebody
Really?
buy gifts really cheap. I did for the July gifts for 2 bags, and she did a great job. So if you need help, she did all my gifts for closing.
Yeah.
I can send
Okay.
you more information.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, Lauren.
Hey, Gina.
So I'm commercial, not residential. So, take it for what it is. But, I randomly found, I live in Holly Springs, work in the Fuquay office, randomly found this group on Facebook, Professional Moms of Holly Springs. I went to one lunch, and actually after that one, I just said, not sure I'm going to go back. And that was in March. 2 weeks ago, I got a text message from a residential agent that was at that luncheon saying, hey, I've got a friend of a client that needs a commercial agent. Can you help them? Now, obviously, there was like 4 residential agents there, so maybe that doesn't work as well for residential. But just sharing, like there are a bunch, like if you go out to Facebook, there are so many different networking groups that have lunches and things like that that are great to go and reach out to. And then I just saw something the other day regarding closing gifts, and it made such total sense to me. Maybe all of y'all do this, but they suggested having something very small at the closing table. So, everybody's expecting a closing gift from their agent, a small plant, just have something small like that. But go back to their house 30 days later as a second touch point then and bring them their true closing gift 30 days later when
Ooh.
they're now kind of settled in and they're not so completely overwhelmed, and then they can appreciate it and then really, appreciate you as a realtor that you're coming back to check in 30 days later. How's everything going? Do you need any help with anything? Any issues or concerns in that kind of a prospecting type visit. So just thought I would share that with y'all because I thought that was really, I liked
That's
that
great. That's a
idea.
great idea. Yeah, I think it's like, how do you make it? Because yes, I mean, we should all give a little gift at the closing table because everyone does it. So you don't want to be like the one that doesn't. But I think how you differentiate yourself is something too, because there's another agent here in the Raleigh office I know of that they give a small gift at the closing table. They do what Gina says too. They follow up like 2 or 3 weeks once they've been settled in their house, and they bring them they're like the very nice closing gift. It is like something that's branded on whether I don't know if it's a cutting board or something like they can use in their home. But also the day of closing, especially if it's a buyer, they have, and they're like moving all day because we know how fun that is. They then have pizza sent to their house that night. Like they know they're going to be there. I mean, obviously if they're out of town or, use your judgment here, but they have like pizza sent to them like, hey, let me provide you dinner tonight. And they'll do stuff like that. So just these little things that, like that's pretty cool. Like they're probably going to really brag about like, heck, my realtor sent me dinner one night because it's, or leave if it's especially someone that's moving in from out of town. Jennifer Justifoord, I'm going to brag on you for a second. She had clients that had actually never seen their home until they moved in, like not even at closing. They closed about a month ago, I want to say, Jennifer, and they just got here and moved here from across like the country. So she went and had she cleaned up the house for them, had it all fresh and ready, left them gift baskets, brought them balloons, all made a big deal about them arriving because they've never even seen their home before that they have bought. Do you think that made a freaking really good impression on them? Jennifer, what else did you do? Chime in here.
Yes, and provide them got their lawn cut too, because want to make the best impression. So like you said, Lauren, it was their very first time seeing it. So I wanted to look as nice as possible. And so yeah. And then of course they asked for different referrals and stuff, but I do plan on doing that 1 month follow-up as well. I really like that idea.
Right. So it's just thinking of ways that you can, because like I said, yes, our time and money is very valuable. So we want to go for the biggest bang for our buck, right? So if you're going to take the time to do stuff, what is going to be memorable? What is going to get them to not only remember you, love you, trust you, but refer you? Like those clients are gonna be like, you will not believe she had our grass cut, the house looking great, all these things that took it off of our plate. We're literally, just drove across the country to move to our brand new house. Anyone they meet, if they ask for a realtor, I'm pretty positive they're probably gonna say Jennifer's name. It's like, what can we do to create those lasting impressions in people to where they want to sing our praises? And those are all ways of prospecting. And I think sometimes we forget, we think prospecting is cold calling. Like that's the first thing that comes to mind is like, oh, cold calling. I really don't want to cold call again. Well, you don't have to always just cold call. There's a lot of other things we can do that are actually ways of prospecting for a business besides just cold calling. Anyone else have any fun ideas, thoughts, anything they're putting together?
I did see a company, it came up on like Facebook or Instagram, whatever. They do marketed moving boxes, which I wasn't sure. I was like, that could be really helpful, but it could be a complete waste
Right, if they
of
don't,
money.
yeah, depending
Because
on.
like if they recycle it all and it just goes straight to the recycling, or if they like post on Facebook, sometimes they'll post like, oh, I have free boxes if anybody needs some. But I thought it was kind of a neat idea, but I also feel like it's a waste of money.
It could be depending. So one thought is if you had nice boxes that you're like, hey, here's moving, like you have a seller, here's moving boxes for you to use, but I just ask you return them to me after you unpack. I actually do have an agent that she has collected moving boxes and that's what she does. She drops them off to her sellers and lets them pack and then they unbox it and take it and they will give them right back to her. But they
Wow.
appreciate it because I mean we all, it's kind of like a pain to have to go out. I mean, you all know you gotta do it when you move. It's super fun, but
Yeah.
like they're not branded to her because they do get, I mean they do, they get beat up, torn up.
Right.
That could go either way, probably.
Yeah.
But once again, it's stuff that people are utilizing. It's just like a time saver. So like, yeah, what are you doing to make their life a little bit easier? It's like stuff to think about. Like, what can you do? Like, I mean, I think doing that 30-day kind of follow-up too is like, you're asking them, like, is there a vendor you need? And then you can refer, your kind of preferred vendors to them. But that can be overwhelming, especially for someone who they've just moved to the area and don't know. Like, and then you're showing up saying, how can I help you? What can I do? Like, oh man, I really need a plumber to take a look at this or whatever. And you can ease that burden a little bit. Those are the things that are going to really make those impressions. Anyone else? I please hope all of you are prospecting. And if not, it's gonna be a long summer. Anyone got anything else to share? Anyone doing anything to prospect for business right now?
Hey, Lauren, it's Pamela. Sorry.
No problem.
Commercial as well, but in me moving to Indiana, I'm doing
Right.
both North Carolina and Indiana. So it's kind of given me some new ideas to branch out here for me to do more there. So I'm still always getting, just like Gina, those women events and luncheons, but I'll get an invite for an NC executive roundtable once in a while. So I'm happy to send those on to anybody. I can send them to you and then you can share them with whomever. And then also, there are other realtors that I'm connected with there since I lived there for so long that I can pass those along to you too. But, just going to the chambers and doing all the chamber events has just always been my go-to.
Right. It's a great, fantastic way. Yeah.
Well, just get your name back out there. And then, some things you can take or leave, but at least there's, a happy hour event or a luncheon or a breakfast. And the economic development people, they're big to know who's coming into town. And, so for commercial, that helps, but also for residential, they'll know who the owners are or the new employees of the new company coming to town and be able to help that. Yeah. So
it's all good knowledge. Yeah. I think the more knowledge you can gain to help whoever is and look like the expert, the better we all are, right? No matter whether you're residential or commercial, the more information you have about the local area you serve, the more you're gonna look like that expert. And I think that's kind of the name of the game when we're prospecting, is we have to be sharing valuable information as well. You're either providing service to them or you're providing valuable information to them. And that's how you're going to take it from just simply prospecting to building them as a client, right? Because we can prospect all day long, 24 hours a day. If we're not converting them to a client, it doesn't matter, right? So it doesn't have to be that you have to speak to 100 people a day. If you know you can go work an event and you have 10 people come through and you can convert 3 to a client, fantastic. So it's not like necessarily, now it is a numbers game in the fact that you do have to talk to people. If you're talking to 0 people, you're going to have 0 clients. We have to be having conversations. So yes, it is a numbers game in that not every single person we speak to is going to need our services right now, or even in the next 2 to 3 months. So the more reach we have, the more we're building our potential client base, the more we're building our sphere to prospect to, the fuller the pipeline is going to stay. So in that case, it is a numbers game. But once again, go back to, where are you getting your business from? What are you good at? What events are coming up? I think that's a very underutilized thing, because we all live in cities that have a ton going on, right? We have a ton of stuff going on in any of the cities that our offices service. What can you get involved in to continue to make connections, whether it's chamber events or your local neighborhood events in the community? What are sponsorship ideas? If it's a big sponsorship, go to your broker in charge and say, look, I found this really cool idea. It could benefit the whole office. See what options are available. Or if it's something you want to do just individually, like, that's fantastic too. Just really kind of do your research and see what else is, like, what's out there that will help me get my name out and allow me to get face-to-face having conversations with people. Because the name of the game is passive is, like I said, building that rapport, building that foundation of your brand, who you are, you're in real estate. And then we've got to take that to the next level with that active conversations, because if we're not having a conversation, they can't be a client, right? At some point we got to speak to each other, or else we can't help them. So you got to eventually get to that conversation is the goal.
Wow.
All right, bye. I am just going to stop recording for a moment.